Hey guys, this is Insomniac Andrew. So I first picked Riki here, and then they picked those heroes. And I'm showing this replay because I figured it was appropriate. Um, I got some friends, that play Riki, and they do all right, I guess, with him. But I feel like they could learn something, and anyone really who watches this video could probably learn something from watching the way I play Riki because it's pretty good. I've really got it down quite a science, and you could see uh, how you can take your game with Riki to the next level, basically. Hopefully, by watching this video, um, because I basically do all the stuff that people don't do that they should be doing, um, and it should really help your gameplay even with other Dota heroes too. I would imagine. Um, So anyways, let's Roche could speed it up, but they still haven't fixed the bug where you can't speed it up during this weird UI overlay or whatever it's called. But 12, 11, 10, 9. So anyways, in this game, it was a random draft. So I just drafted Rifty. I was first pick, right? And they picked, and so on.
Beastmaster.
Anyhow, I wasn't really worried about anybody picking Bounty Hunter, despite him being in the pool. But Yellow decided, he figured, Bounty Hunter, he's a pretty good hero, so he picked that hero. And I don't think it was just because he didn't want them to have it, but I think it's just because he wanted to have him. I think he knew as well as I did that if I was picking Riki, it's because I wasn't scared of Bounty Hunter. Anyhow, so my allies actually told me, despite me wanting the lane, they're like, oh, but you're gonna go up against Templar Assassin, oh, you're gonna lose the lane bad. I just ignored their insults, for the most part. Told them that I know what I'm doing, basically. And probably said something about it being my most successful hero. So I scout out, I get up on the high ground, that's important, to see what their items are. So I already knew she had the observer wards, I'm like, she's gonna plant observer wards, huh? So when she goes over here, even though I already have the rune, I figure, well, she must be placing a ward over there. Sure enough, that's what she does. When she comes back to the lane, I see that she only has one ward in her inventory, and I know that's exactly what she did. So being observant really pays off. So even as a spectator, I could see what she did. I know just as well as a player. That's important to be observant. And that's what going over here will let you do. It gives you vision of them like right away. You can see what their items are immediately, instead of just coming over here and meeting each other in the water. Now, if you start right away, she's doing pretty good because she gets her side blades at level 1 to try to harass me. Now what I do is I have both rings for the tranquil boots. And because I have both rings, I can back off and let myself heal up in between last hits. Now I haven't gotten a last hit yet, and so that's a bit unfortunate. But if you're up against a hard lane opponent like Templar Assassin, you gotta expect that to be the case, and not get too greedy about the last hits. Just stand back, out of range, and wait for an opening. Now sometimes you can make that opening with your smoke. I should have actually learned smoke at level 1. I didn't. That was really dumb of me. But anyway, I do have it at level 2, so I start using it, and I get a deny and a last hit. So I'm actually a little bit behind, and I was underestimating her. I was thinking, well, if she is a ward and she's planting, she must not be very good, right? Well, I was wrong. Whatever. Anyway, backstab's pretty bad at level 1 anyway. I mean, well, it's fine, but it's great to have that smoke, because you make them miss and they can't harass you for trying to take last hits and denies. So that's important. So get your smoke up, and yeah, regardless when you're Templar, you definitely want your 3, each 1 level in each ability because it's so good. Now Riki, it kind of depends on your laning opponent. You might want more smoke screen levels, you might want more backstab levels, you might want to blink strike, or maybe you don't want blink strike at all. But yeah, so it definitely depends on who you're up against. But I wanted more smoke for sure, regardless. And I know blink's not going to help that much against her, so I don't really get it. So what you need to be doing is getting your tranquil golds. Now I have it, but I haven't gotten used to the fact that it's only 450 gold now instead of 500 for the boots. So I stalled and waited until I got 470. That's a bit, that's something I got to work on, because they did reduce the gold cost there.
First blood, bagged and tagged.
So Templar's over here, when she should be over here. But she did grab bottled double damage. She's probably trying to hide that fact from me. But she could have been using her meld. I don't understand why she's sitting on full mana. When she has bottled rune, she could be using her mana. She could have had her shield on to make last hits go more smoothly. So, because she's not using her shield every once in a while, I feel like she's not a very strong player. But besides that, I detected as a player, I noticed her psi range increased. So she must have leveled up her psi blades to level 2 when she was level 4. And so because of that, I know that her refraction charges will suffer. And her meld damage won't be so great either. So I follow her over here, and then I'm like, okay, well, there's no rune here. Let's go back the other way. And she plants a ward here. And I warned them that she's at bottom. The bounty hunter gets really close to dying, but he doesn't quite die because of my warning. Now, so I'm here fighting a bunch of creeps, and you think this should be a tough lane, right? But she has 8 last hits, and I have 14 last hits all of a sudden, right? Because she just left the lane. So when you're up against a Riki, I would suggest you not leave the lane, because if you do, he's going to catch up in last hits very fast. At least if he plays properly. That's what you do. You just bide your time. Plant a well-timed, well-placed smoke screen, to get some last hits and nice. And when they leave the lane, that's when you really go all out. And that's how you're supposed to play Riki, solo middle. Get your tranquil boots, and just heal up whenever you can, and all that. Because your main goal is you want to rush your diffusal blade. So once you get like 1,000 gold, a couple thousand gold, and you buy a couple alacrity blades and bring them over on the courier. Sometimes I'll go ahead and save up my items, and I don't bring the first alacrity blade to me right away. It's because I don't really need it for the last hitting, and nobody needs me to kill anybody right now for the most part. So if I delay picking up the item from the courier, that will tell. But I should have already bought the blade of alacrity by now, but I didn't. That was a mistake. But if I delay picking it up from a courier, that feeds false information to my opponent. Makes them think that my last hits are not as good as they really are, and so they think it's not so important that they get back to the middle lane quickly. Now at that point, I purposely let Bounty Hunter have that kill, because I didn't want to be 3-0 so fast. I blinked onto him and then backed off immediately, because I knew Bounty Hunter could finish him off, and he did. But I knew that I was also fast enough to still deliver the last hit if I needed to, because Undying didn't have his ultimate yet. He was only level 5, so he had no way of slowing me down, other than using his tombstone, but he'd already used it.
Dire's top tower is
And besides, that would have delayed his retreat to cast it in the first place because it has casting time, and that would have allowed me to catch up regardless, even if he hadn't casted the tombstone. So I was definitely fine as long as he hadn't been level 6, still killing him, but still at the same time allowing Bounty Hunter to get the last hit if he had Shuriken to toss, and he did. So either way, we were fine. If Bounty Hunter didn't take the kill, I would have. But I did that on purpose, just so that way the opponents wouldn't worry about me middle so much. So now instead of having 2 opponents middle, I only have to deal with 1, which is easy. Oh no, I guess I was wrong. All of a sudden there are 3 of them. So, but it could have been worse. It could have been 4 or 5 guys middle, like if I had been 3 and 0, but I wasn't. But you know, maybe it would have been better for me to take that last hit. But regardless, it's always nice for Bounty Hunter to have it. It's not such a bad thing to share. Anyway, at this point I'm getting serious and getting my Blades of Valkyrie, obviously. Buying up my Diffusal, but I haven't delivered it yet. And, as you can see, I was throwing down smokes. You know, when your allies come to help you, you cover for your allies. They're throwing down smoke screen. And then, like, these opponents are really not all that good, like, but it just goes to show you that most players are not all that good, and you can beat them if you just are good, and you help out your allies any way you can, then they will prosper. So you want to hit like your chat wheel for people missing, because for all you know they're talking a different language, you don't know what it is, and you want to, this is actually 4x speed, so this is paused 4 times as long as it feels like for you. But anyways, I mean, yeah, I'm patient. I'm not an unfair player. I will let them pause. I won't necessarily pause for them, like if I feel like, you know, maybe they rage quit, because that's pretty common. But that didn't happen. So, whatever. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this game is over. I'm still playing hard and showing no mercy.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So what you want to do when you sneak up on them like that is you do like that. You right click them first, and then a smoke screen immediately afterward. And what you do by doing that is you get in a nice backstab, but then you also get in a silence that they have to walk out of, and that's great. If you want to really maximize your damage, like if you've already got Blink Strike maxed, then after you've smoke screened, you just Blink Strike again immediately, and that'll give you more damage, and another backstab in case they turned around to attack you or whatever. But and see that as they run away, in another 5 seconds you can blink on them again. But you really don't need to do that so much when you've got the Tranquil Boots. Blink Strike isn't so important. You do want to have it maxed out by the time there's like a big team fight and you have to kill a lot of people, because then every 5 seconds you gotta kill off another red HP hero, and you're gonna need that Blink Strike maxed to be able to do that, because that's when the cooldown gets down to 5 seconds. So it's definitely not something you want to just leave at level 1. Same goes for Smokescreen. If you're going to leave that at level 1, don't leave it at level 1 for too long. You got to max it out too. Max out all your skills, they're good. That's the general rule of thumb anyway. Now, in this case, I calculated this risk appropriately and was able to survive. That's something you'll be able to learn to do when you get Tranquil Boots on Riki, because you can really, like from the beginning of the game, I was smoke screening to be able to get the last hit and deny. I was calculating the movement into the last hit and everything, and then also I knew what Beastmaster's items were and his abilities, what levels they were, because I was very observant. And my Tranquil Boots practice, I knew, I calculated from the damage from the tower and everything that I would survive that encounter by diving into these trees here. And that's exactly what I did. So it definitely helps to practice, and you know, if you're not at your full health, you can't take those same kinds of risks. And that's why you need regen on Riki. Whether it's Tranquil Boots or just a simple ring of regeneration, if you don't have that regen to get yourself up to full HP between fights, you're doing it wrong. You're not going to be able to do enough damage, because you have to be able to take risks. Because if you don't, you're basically a coward and you're not doing your job. I guess that's what you would call a calculated risk. You don't want to take unnecessary risks, but calculated risks are fine. Now what I did there was, instead of just attacking her or just right-clicking on the ground, I pressed the move hotkey and then clicked on her. So that way I could follow her around for a bit until I was satisfied that she'd stopped moving. I don't usually do that. I need to make a practice of doing that more often. But anyways, that's a very good tactic to use that a lot of good Riki players will do. And it really helps you set up really good smoke screens if you're not very good at it. So I definitely recommend trying that technique out.
Haste.
Now what I did also after I did the smoke screen, or maybe just before, is I planted the diffusal blade charge on her, and that made it so there was no escape at all. Now in this case I was really running out of mana, so I didn't have mana for a smoke screen. But if I'd had it, I would have been able to kill the Death Prophet. So at this point, I'm falling back and recharging my mana. You probably don't want to get to the point where you're in danger of dying to go recharge your mana, but definitely, I mean, if you're not having enough mana for your smoke screen, then you definitely gotta fall back and recharge it regardless. So, because you're just not the same hero without that smoke screen. At this point I'm being cautious, and the reason being, I don't know what items they have, plus there's a tower that still hasn't been destroyed. And so they did pop a dust onto me, but it's fine. I got smoke screen, and I was actually out of sight. Or far enough out of sight anyway. This was a pretty risky engagement regardless, because they were just... Dragonite was so beefy. But I knew that Ogre Magi was still there, and he was able to pop the stun to ensure I was able to get away. So that was key. Being able to realize what your allies are capable of and what they've proven is pretty important. Earlier on, Ogre Magi had come around looking for kills, and I helped him get some. So anyways, or maybe that was a different game and it was the same. I don't know. I mean, no, he's already 9-1-9, so he's definitely proven himself this game. Anyway, so you want your Manta after your Diffusal. Sometimes you want your Manta before your Diffusal, but against this lineup, Yeah, man, Fusel's good. I don't know. Anyway, one thing I have issue with is when people get Sange and Yasha in Diffusal. That's not a good combination. When you have Diffusal, Manta is the appropriate item combination. Because, see this mana burn, this feedback, it does 20 mana and deal the same amount in damage, and upgradable to 36. That is on your illusions. So they're doing that feedback too. So 20 damage per illusion, that's an extra 40 damage with the Manta style. Or an extra 70 damage per, wait, is that 72? Yeah, an extra 72 damage if your Diffusal is level 2, once you've got your Manta style. So it's really not to be underestimated, and besides the damage, it's burning away mana, which is great, because by the time they leave your smoke screen, maybe they won't even have mana to cast the spell they want to cast. So you get your Manta, and hopefully, after your Manta, you can maybe even get a Basher next. If you can get a Basher, great. And then you get that, and then maybe you can get an Abyssal. And if you can get that, great. Or maybe like a Butterfly or something, an Ethereal Blade maybe. But if you do run out of Diffusal charges somewhere along the way, then you want to go ahead and buy the upgrade on that. But you want to try to get as many items as you can get before you have to buy that. You especially want to make sure you get your Manta before you buy your level 2. If you've got your Manta before you buy your level 2, you can definitely buy your level 2 at any point after that, and it'll still be a worthwhile upgrade. If you're buying it because of the feedback, right? But as long as you don't need, like, as long as you're getting plenty of gold, then you can just keep buying more items. And you don't necessarily need to buy that level 2. But if you're having a hard time getting gold and you need some additional damage output, you know, you'll be able to increase your damage by, like, what, 30 plus 4, that's times 2 is 8. So you can increase your damage by 38, that's including backstab damage, just by 850 gold, right? Well, no, that's not including the additional feedback from your own hero, so it's actually another 16. So what is that, like 54? You improve your damage by like 54 just by 850 gold, but that's only when you've got the Manta style. But anyways, so I mean, definitely 54 is better than 40 for the Skull Basher, right? But Skull Basher is a disable, and you cannot underrate disables. So you definitely want that Skull Basher if you think you can afford it. Now, it doesn't disable all that much, but it's generally enough. So anyways, and that's pretty much Riki in a nutshell. I'll give you a peek at my items that I typically get for Riki. See, there's your starting items right there, those 3. And then, this is pretty much optional stuff. You don't necessarily need to get early game, but it can definitely help you. And then this is your core, basically. This is the stuff you really need to get early. You get this, get that, all that, and then you're king. Nobody can stop you. But some other items are good too. Sometimes you get other stuff. I don't know. I just threw the stuff in there. I'm not even sure if it's stuff that I normally get or whatever, but I generally win games just getting these 3 items, and the game's over. That's how good Manta and Diffusal is. and why you really shouldn't get Sange and Yasha with the diffuser, because it just adds so much extra damage, and the feedback's great for all the time they're in your smoke screen. Plus, when you finally level up your diffuser to level 2, there's just so much extra damage for such little gold. It's really worthwhile. So I mean, you just shift click these babies, and then it'll put that in your quick buy. That's pretty helpful actually. You just right click on each of the components because you have money for it. Especially if you're getting the items and you know if you don't have time to bring the courier to you because other people are going to be using the courier, you're just going to farm it up so fast anyways. But just in case, then you buy like the recipe first when you get the gold for it, just to cut down on gold loss in case someone ganks you. This can be sometimes a good idea. Otherwise, you usually just buy the most expensive item first, because that's the easier way to build it usually. The most bang for your buck that way. But yeah, definitely gives you the option of having everything available for you when you're clicking on stuff. So definitely use that quick buy from now on, and suggest it to everyone else to use it because it helps. You want to be good-mannered too. You want to keep attacking their buildings. Don't be like that bounty hunter. He's a bad example. He's just greedy for kills. Like, he got like way more kills than me, but that's only because he's fountain farming. Basically cheater. If I was his opponent, I would report him for fountain farming. But I'm his ally, so if you guys would report him, go ahead, but I'm not gonna report him, whatever. Anyway, that's the game.